Mr Chair.
Call Stuart Smith.
Thank you, Mr Chair. Well, Mr Chair, that previous Green speaker underlined the wisdom of putting in commissioners at ECAN, I think. So I'd like to address a couple of matters that was raised there. $37 billion in exports earned from the primary sector, Mr Chair, and with a stretch target of $64 billion by 2025. And it is a stretch target, and that's what we put a target in place for, to make it difficult to attain, and it will be difficult to attain that. And it won't be simply reached by doubling production. It'll be reached by increasing value, so growing value over volume in a sustainable way. And I'm very proud to be a part of the national government, which is taking environmental issues sensibly and attacking them in the right manner, so economically sustainable as well. Pragmatic environmentalism, absolutely. But, Mr Speaker, I'll come back to the growth targets in a little minute, but I wanted to touch on TB. I think bovine TB is a significant issue that's being tackled by the government, and $70 million put up in this budget to help eradicate TB in the next 4 years is a fantastic goal, and it is to get rid of TB out of cattle and deer by 2026 is a difficult target, but one that's really worthy of trying to achieve. We also have the goal of eradicating TB from infected wildlife by 2055, and that will be difficult to achieve, but it is also quite worthy to do that. And I know from personal experience of having to destroy deer that were false positives, Mr Speaker, Mr Chair at least, is pretty disappointing for the farmer, and particularly when you find out it's woody tongue and not in fact TB and that it's reacted to. I might add that the tests have actually improved in the last few years. So other things I'd like to touch on, Mr Speaker, wilding conifers has been $16 million over 4 years put into control wilding conifers, and that's something that most people don't take a lot of notice of, but particularly in places like the Mackenzie country, it's quite insidious. And it doesn't just change by growing a few trees that are unwanted on land that's not really economically viable to get rid of. It actually changes the whole landscape, and that affects everyone. And I think $16 million will go a long way over 4 years to help deal with that problem, and I applaud that. I wanted really now to come to growing our exports to $64 billion, and the PGP projects are going to help along the way. Also note organics, the organic sector, which used to be $70 million by 2002 and has grown to $240 million. And organics is an important part of growing that value. It often achieves a higher value, and that's what we're trying to do to grow our exports to our primary production to $64 billion. And I know that's only a small part, but it helps grow the brand. I really support that. One of the appeals I'd give today is that the organic sector needs to become united and make it much easier for them to attract money from things like PGP if they're united. If they're not together, it's very difficult to do that. But, Mr Speaker, one of the other things I'd like to talk about is lifestyle wines, which is a PGP project. And that's to enable the wine industry to produce low-alcohol wines in a way that doesn't detract from the full flavour and experience from the wine that the consumer likes to drink. It's about mouthfeel and other things. Often you lose mouthfeel with lower alcohol because it does have a fattening impact on the palate. So quite an important thing. But the wine industry, Mr Speaker, Mr Chair, in the Marlborough region is growing significantly, and it is growing value, as I alluded to earlier. And I've got this little visual aid to demonstrate that this is the Marlborough area planted in Marlborough overlaid over a map of Wellington, going all the way up to Upper Hutt, right through Trentham, right up into Upper Hutt. And that's the area in green. The area in yellow is the proposed new plantings over the next 4 years. And that is in part driven by the TPP, and where we've got a great trade agreement there, Mr Chair, and that will help us drive our growth. It's a great result.
Richard Prosser.